बिहारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी।
गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गिरिवरधारी।
जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गिरिवरधारी।
जय यशोदानंदन जय ब्रज जनरंजन।
जय यशोदानंदन जय ब्रज जनरंजन।
जयो यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय कुंज बिहारी।
जय यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय कुंज बिहारी।
जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी।
जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी।
श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद।
जय प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर आसादि गौर भक्तवृंद।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे
हरे कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे राधा।
जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे।
जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव सुभद्र माझ जय सुदर्शन।
जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा जय सुदर्शन
जय जय गोपाल देव जय गोपाल देव गोपाल देव जय गोपाल देव
जय गोपाल देव जय गोपाल देव जय गोपाल देव जय गोपाल
जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय पतित पावन गौरनिताय
जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय पथ पावन गौरनिताय
जय प्रभुपद शिल प्रभुपद
जय प्रभुपाद श्रील प्रभुपाद
जय जय जगद्गुरु शिल प्रभुपद
जय जय जगद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद
जय जय श्रीपाद 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 श्रीपाद
जय जय श्रीपाद 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 श्रीपाद
जय गुरु महाराज श्रील श्रीपाद की जय जय
जय
जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय
जय
ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय.
जय
So we are reading today from the Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 16th chapter, verse number 58. The prescribed duties for mankind. That is the title of this chapter. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Narayanam Namaskritya
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
Tato Jayam Udidhaye
ततो जयमुदीरये
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
Bhagavati Uttama Sloke
भगवती उत्तम श्लोके
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishiki.
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी
So, text number 58. Labdveha manushim yonim
लब्ध्वेह मानुषीं योनिं
jnana vijnana sambhavam
ज्ञान विज्ञान संभवाम्
atmanam yona bhutyeta
आत्मानं यो न बुध्येत
na kvachit kshemam apnuyad
न क्वचित् क्षेममाप्नुयात्
labdveha manushim yonim
लब्ध्वेह मानुषीं योनिं
jnana vijnana sambhavam
ज्ञान विज्ञान संभवाम्
atmanam yona bhutyeta
आत्मानं यो न बुध्येत
न क्वचित् क्षेमम् आप्नुयात्.
न क्वचित् क्षेममाप्नुयात्
Translation, purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Translation. A human being can attain perfection in life by self-realization through the Vedic literature and its practical application. This is possible especially for a human being born in India, the land of piety. A man who obtains birth in such a convenient position but does not understand his self is unable to achieve the highest perfection, even if he is exalted to life in the higher planetary systems. Purport by Prabhupada. This statement is confirmed in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela 9.41. Lord Chaitanya said, Bharata Bhumite Hoite Manushya Janma Jara. Bharata Bhumite Hoile Manushya Janma Jara. Janma Sartaka Kari Kara Para Upakar. Everyone born in India, especially as a human being, can achieve the supreme success through the Vedic literatures and its practical application in life. When one is perfect, he can render a service for the self-realization of the entire human society. This is the best way to perform humanitarian work. That's it, huh? Yeah. So, Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Surabdamodar Swaminiti Namine Nama Sadbhakta Manaye Manipurudbhavaya Cha Prabhupada Satvani Prachara Niratayate Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Desatarine Vancha Kalpatarurvyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Shamana Tam Namami Harim Param Sansara Sagare Magnam Deenam Mam Karunanide Karmagrahya Grihitangam Mam Uddhara Bhavarnavat Srimad Bhagavatam Akyoyam Pratyaksha Krishna Evahi Svikrutosi Mayanata Mukyartam Bhavasagare. So this very nice slok, our Lord Anantadev Sesha, he's explaining, by his own mouth, by his own lotus mouth, the Lord is explaining to Chitraketu, spiritual knowledge. Already, by the blessings of Angira Muni and Narad Muni, Chitraketu, he was fortunate to have darshan of the Lord. And directly, from the Lord's lotus mouth, he is listening to these wonderful instructions. So in this particular verse in the Bhagavatam, it is saying, Labdveha Manushim Yonim. There are 84 lakh species mentioned in the Padma Puran. And among them, you see the most minimum, the least, 4 lakh species is the human form. And this gradation, these different bodily forms, or the yoni, the different bodily forms, are because of different degrees of consciousness. So to achieve a human state of consciousness, you see, even that is very, very rare. Because among 84 lakhs, it's just 4 lakh species that are awarded the human form. So if somebody is getting a human form, Labdva, is getting this wonderful opportunity of being in a human body, and then Jnana Vijnana Sambhavam. And Prabhupada is saying In the material world, especially in Bharatvarsh, especially in the pious land, land of India, he's saying Jnana Vijnana Sambhavam, where there is a possibility of not only knowledge but also Vijnana, Vishesh Jnana. Vishesh Jnana means you are practically applying that knowledge. So there is knowledge, there is Vijnana, and then there is the most advanced scientific knowledge, right? Mere knowledge, just some Gyan, whatever is presented in the Vedas, in the scriptures, and then Vijnana, Vishesh Jnana, or scientific knowledge. Scientific means not only the theory, but you are also having the practicals. So it is applied spiritual technology. Whatever knowledge you have, spiritual knowledge, you are applying that. So that is Vigyan, Vishesh Gyan. And then finally, we have the most advanced scientific knowledge, which is our spiritual knowledge or transcendental knowledge. So this is beyond the boundaries of a conceivable mind. It's totally inconceivable, even beyond your rational mind, beyond your logic and everything. This reigns supreme. That's why it is the most advanced scientific knowledge. It is also scientific knowledge. Spiritual knowledge or transcendental knowledge is also scientific. There is also the theory and practicals, but it is the most advanced. And why is it the advanced? Because Atmanam, it is talking directly about yourself, about your real identity. You may know so many things in the outside world. You may know this, you may know that, you may know places, you may know people, you may know so many things. But if you don't know about who you are, what you are, what you're meant to do, then this whole thing, parabhavas. Parabhavas means it's completely defeated. Your purpose, your entire purpose, your knowledge and knowing all these different category of things, it's completely defeated. Said parabhavas, what is that? Parabhavas tavad yad abodha jata. If you don't know, na jigishatam atma tattvam. He doesn't know about his own atma, about his own self. Then whatever he does is parabhavas. It is completely defeated. The whole purpose is defeated. But suppose you get a human body with good intelligence, and suppose you are born in a very pious land like India, which is a mother of all spiritual uh, culture. If you are born in such a wonderful land, where there are so many sadhus, there are so many Vedic literatures, and where there is so much opportunity to perform devotional service in temples scattered all over the world, especially India. If you are having this wonderful opportunity and then you're going to miss this opportunity, then what can be said? What can be done? Prabhupada is saying there is so many wood, wood you burn. You can use that wood for cooking and doing so many things. But you have sandalwood. The sandalwood is very special. That wood, if you're just using it for ordinary cooking, then you're just wasting that. The same way, this human form is something very, very rare. Durlabham manusha janma tadapi adhruvam artadam. It is adhruvam. It is a temporary thing. It will not last, 50 to 100 years maximum. Some people, they even go before that. But artadam, it is so much full of meaning. This whole human form of existence is so much full of meaning because you can achieve the topmost thing, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And even if you're not able to do that, at least you can understand who you are and what you're meant to do. Self-realization. That's why Guru Maharaj said this science of Krishna consciousness is a topmost science because it gives you complete knowledge of self-realization. It's a very wonderful statement. Complete knowledge. You at least know who you are and what you're meant to do. And then, whether you're acting on that platform, that is a different story. That's why Prabhupada is saying this practical application, not only knowledge from the Vedic literatures about self-realization, but he's also saying, and its practical application. So simply knowing I am Atma is not going to work. You have to apply that knowledge and do activities on the spiritual platform. You have to act like you're the soul, you're part and parcel of God. So the part and parcel, my finger is meant to serve the whole body. That is his natural function. So same way, the soul, if it is part and parcel of the Lord, The soul is meant to serve the Lord in all circumstances. This is a benefit, you know. Uh, uh, this is a maximum benefit you can achieve in your human form of. Otherwise, Prabhupada is saying, "Na buddhyeta." If you don't understand this, na kvachin shemam apnuyat. There is no shemam. You will not get any kind of success in life. At any time, at any point of time. If you're going to skip over this part, this aspect of self-realization, and acting on that platform of self-realization, then whatever endeavor you do, it is defeated, and you will never achieve success in life, no matter at what time. You may be young, you may be old, you may be grand old man, but still, if you're going to miss out on this thing, this wonderful knowledge and its practical application, then this whole purpose is defeated. It's for the Bhagavatams. See, in the concluding verses of the Bhagavatam, you see the whole Bhagavatam, it is starting with this thing. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudaya Devaya, you're offering obeisances to the Supreme Lord. And the very first verse, our Vyasdev is ending with this thing, Satyam Param Dhimahi. I'm meditating on the Satyam Param. And if you see the Bhagavad Gita, the very first word, after Sri Dhritarashtra is Dharma. The very first word, Dharma. And the ending word in the Bhagavad Gita is Matir Mama. Mama means mine, and Mati means my thought process. So the whole Gita is talking about your real dharma, your real occupational duty, what exactly a human person is supposed to do. And in the Bhagavatam, you see the first word. What is that? Satyam Param Dhimahi. I'm meditating. Dhimahi means meditate. Satyam Param, on the topmost absolute truth. This absolute truth, I'm meditating on that. And in the concluding verses also, the same way, our Sukadev Goswami is winding up the whole Bhagavatam, 12 cantos, all these slokas. And, just before the conclusive thing, that Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam, singing this very wonderful verse that the glorification of the holy name of the Lord will destroy all your sins. And then, I bow down to that Lord whose holy name is non-different from himself, because the Lord is absolute. So before this concluding verse, just before 2 or 3 verses, see, there is this very wonderful sloka where it is saying, this is in the 12th canto, 13th chapter and 18th verse. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam Yasmin Paramahamsyam Ekam Amalam Jnanam Param Giyate Tatra Jnana Viraga Bhakti Sahitam Naishkarmyam Avishkritam Tat Shrinvan Supatan Vicharan Paro Bhaktya Vimuchen Nara. So it's a very, very, very wonderful sloka. The human form, simply by reading the Bhagavatam, simply by attentive hearing of the Bhagavatam, simply by rendering service to the Bhagavatam, the spotless Puran, it is mentioned, it is the most dear to Vaishnavas because it describes pure and supreme knowledge of the Paramahamsas. This knowledge is the most advanced scientific knowledge, is Amalam, it is completely pure, spotless, and then it is supreme knowledge, Jnanam Param. Topmost knowledge. And then the Bhagavatam reveals a means for becoming free from all material work. Because Karanam, Prabhupada is saying, Karanam means you have this body, the cause of this material body and all the suffering you're undergoing is simply because you're performing activities which is leading to this body. Because of my past sinful activities, I have this human body. And now if I'm going to work again, in the same fashion, then I'll be producing another body. But instead of causing like this, one body after another, one material body after another, one cycle of suffering and then again another cycle of suffering, akaranam, if you're able to somehow prevent this, Naishkarmyam, if you're somehow able to cut off all these unnecessary, unwanted activities, fruitive activities, then it is said, then what is that? Jnana Vijnana Bhakti Sahitam. You can do that with proper knowledge, by proper renouncement and Bhakti Sahitam. That's the main part, with devotion. Then Vimuchenara, the person gets liberated from this material platform. But then Prabhupada is saying this Naishkarmyam api achyuta bhava varjitam. Naishkarmyam means there is no activity, and generally in the impersonal Jyoti, in the Brahman platform, because the soul is just floating in the Brahma Jyoti, there is actually no activity. Spiritual activity is a positive activity, and then material activities, fruitive activities, whether they are good or bad, they are supposed to be negative because they give you another material body. Even if you do good activity, you still get a material body to enjoy all the pious credits. You do something bad, then you get a terrible body, and again you have to suffer. Either way around, any fruitive material activities will ultimately lead to suffering. But spiritual activities are on the positive side, and this impersonal Brahma Jyoti Naishkarmyam, where you're floating without any positive or negative activities, in the Bhagavatam, it is said, Naishkarmyam api achyuta bhava varjitam. If there is no concept of the infallible Lord, the Supreme Personality, Krishna, Achyuta, that Achyuta Bhavam, if that is not there, no shobhate jnanam alam niranjana. There is no shobha. There is no beauty there. Even you are on the spiritual platform, you are a tiny soul, you are floating in the Brahma Jyoti, you have achieved that much. Still, without the superior concept of the Lord, even that doesn't look very nice. That doesn't look very good. Then, Kuta Puna Shashwada Bhadram Ishware, then what to speak of? What is that? Even if you're doing activities, fruitive activities, which are very troublesome from the beginning. So the thing is, the whole idea is that, you use your knowledge and you use all your activities, somehow or other you bring it to the platform of devotion. Ena kena prakarena. Somehow or the other, mana Krishna nivesha. You bring your mind so that your mind is somehow situated at the lotus feet of the Lord. That's why Vyasdev is starting with Satyam Param Dhimahi. And again, the conclusion is also like that. I meditate on the Supreme Absolute Truth. So see, it's such a simple thing. It's such a very wonderful thing. Simply hearing the Bhagavatam, simply chanting the holy names of the Lord, little sincerely, little sincerely. The Lord doesn't mind all these mistakes you make, because if He knows your heart is pure, your intentions are good, even that little bit you're doing, the Lord will acknowledge that. That is His kindness. That's why there is a story how Vyasdev was calling this Danya Kali. He's saying all glories to Kali Yuga, like that. What actually happened was that these sages, the sages are so much immersed in the Krishna consciousness that they cannot bear to see others suffer because of lack of Krishna consciousness. So these sages, before Kali Yuga was to appear, these sages, they were seeing, they were foreseeing all the troubles that people in Kali Yuga would undergo, all the disturbances, the anxiety, the sufferings. So out of their compassion, they decided that let us go consult Vyasdev. What is the solution for that? What is the remedy for that? So they approached Badrik Ashram, where Vyasdev has his ashram, and Vyasdev was taking a dip in the Ganges, and he was saying, all glories to Kali Yuga, all glories to Kali Yuga, all glories to Kali Yuga. While taking bath in the Ganga, Vyasdev was actually glorifying Kali Yuga. Not once, but 3 times. So, these sages were thinking Kali Yuga is a very horrible age, and, they're approaching Vyasdev to get the remedy for that. But here Vyasdev is glorifying Kali Yuga, saying, Danya Kali Yuga, all glories to Kali Yuga, Jai Ho Kali Yuga. Like. So naturally, they were struck with wonder, and they approached Vyasdev, and they're asking him, uh, what is this that we are hearing? And Vyasdev, he controlled himself, he composed himself, he received them properly, you gave them proper asan with all respect. And then after welcoming them, he's asking, how can I serve you? So they are asking, what is the intention? We are thinking Kali Yuga is a horrible age and people are going to suffer. But instead, you are glorifying Kali Yuga, not once, but 3 times. What is the mystery? You kindly explain. So this is what these sages were asking are Vyasdev. Vyasdev, who actually composed the Bhagavatam. And Vyasdev, smilingly, he's replying, my dear sages, though this approaching Kali Yuga is worst of all, still there are 3 worthy things which are very easy to practice and at the same time they give supreme benefit. So this three times he's saying Jai Ho Kali Yuga, right? Danya Kali Yuga, Jai Ho Kali Yuga. Why is that? Because the first thing, it is meant for women. Women generally, Stri, Shudra, Dvijabandhunam, Trayina, Shruti Gochara. These 3 people, the lady especially, and then Shudras and Dvijabandhu, those who are born in Brahminical family but don't have any quality of a Brahmana. These 3 category of people, na Shruti Gochara, they cannot understand Vedic literatures. They are considered like Papa Yoni, sinful. So even these category of people, it is mentioned that, for especially for women, glorious are those women in Kali Yuga who are very dedicated to their husbands. Vyasdev is glorifying because of this. They just need to love and serve their husbands and they are given complete protection. They can achieve perfection, whatever perfection their husbands are achieving, even without doing any tapasya or spiritual sadhana. So he is glorifying because of this opportunity. And if the husband is a very nice devotee of the Lord, he is a Vaishnava, then that lady automatically, simply by serving him, she achieves all this perfection. And then the second Jai to Kali Yuga is for the servants, dedicated servants. Servants just need to serve their master. The master, sometimes he must do some cheating, right, in order to maintain the business, or sometimes he gets involved in politics. And, they are involved in so many activities, which will not be very conducive sometimes. But the servants just need to serve, and he is not responsible for the action of the master. So, at the same time, he will get all benefit and protection. That's why, Maharaj was saying, you don't have to worry for your own liberation, right? In the Kumbh Mela, when all the devotees were trying to take a dip in the Ganges, Prabhupada said, we are not come here to, get liberated. During the Kumbh Mela, you have this Amrita Yoga, that particular time, when nectar falls from heaven and somebody who goes and takes a dip, he gets liberated. So people, you see, during the Kumbh Mela time, they all rush. And Prabhupada is saying, we don't care for a liberation. We are not here for liberating ourselves. So this thing, the servant, he doesn't have to consider, what my position will be. His job is simply serve his master very nicely. And if he is doing that, he will get all the benefit. And then finally, the third Jai Ho for Kali Yuga is for glorifying the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. See, in this age, almost all our efforts are practically worthless, whatever we do. Because it's so full with mistakes and problems. Kaler dosha nide rajan. Like you can make a whole list of like an ocean of faults. You're doing this thing, you see this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. Like this, you can make a whole list, complete list. But asti hi eko mahan guna. There is one nice thing, one good quality. What is that? Kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha param. See, just by taking this process of chanting the holy name very seriously, you can very fastly, you can go over the ocean of material existence and you can achieve the supreme destination. Prabhupada said, back home, back to God. So these sages, when they are hearing this, they understood that in Kali Yuga, Nama Vina Kichu Nahito Ara, Chauda Bhuvanamaj, within these 14 planetary systems, except the chanting of the holy name, there is nothing else. And because we are in a BI, Bhaktivedanta Institute, and we are doing scientific preaching, you are using your scientific knowledge also to glorify the Lord by convincing people to engage in bhakti, in devotional process. This is also Hari Kirtan. This is also glorification of the Lord. You have the scientific knowledge. You may be an engineer, you may be an IIT graduate, you may be a doctor, you may be a computer scientist. Whatever profession you are in, or whatever knowledge you have gathered in your human form, if you can use that knowledge and you can engage it in the service of the Lord, dovetail it in the service of the Lord, this is also Hari Kirtan. So that is also as good as chanting the holy names of the Lord. So this is the beauty. It's not that you come to devotional service, you have to give up on all the things you have learned. Your engineering skills, your engineering knowledge, your doctoring skills, your medical knowledge. No, anything, everything, you can use that knowledge and you can dovetail that in the service of the Lord. And most importantly, not only that makes your life perfect, but kara para upakar, you can also help others get onto that path. And bhakti is such a wonderful thing. When you do it, you feel so happy because you're doing what you're meant to do. There's the most natural thing that the soul can do. And then when you're helping others also to come onto the path, you will feel that much more blissful. And the Lord is saying that, a person who is doing that, who is passing on this message to, my devotees, because everybody is a devotee of the Lord, actually. Everybody is a Vaishnava. They have just forgotten, the degree of forgetfulness. That's all. So if somebody is passing on this message, to my devotees, the Lord is saying, he becomes very, very dear to me. He becomes very dear to me. Kashin me priya krittama, he becomes so very dear, very, very priya, very dear to me. So this is what we are trying to do, rather than get into Maya's good books, that being a servant of Maya and suffering unlimitedly, it's better to suffer here for Krishna's sake, for the sake of Krishna's devotees, and then we really gain some benefit from that. But here there is no benefit. Whatever you do, ultimately, it will be defeated. So this understanding, somebody, if he is able to get, not simply knowing this, but understanding. Understanding means you have some practical application. And beyond this understanding, when you come to the perfect stage of realization or complete understanding, when you come to that platform that yes, I am spirit soul, I am meant to do this job, then your life becomes successful. So that's why the Lord Ananta Dev is very nicely saying, Labdveha yo manushim yonim. Manushim yonim, you got this very wonderful form, O King Chitraketu. And Sambhavam, there is a possibility of not only knowledge but Vijnana, not only Jnana and Vijnana, but also most advanced scientific knowledge or spiritual knowledge. And then Atmanam yo buddhyeta. If you have all these wonderful opportunities and still that person is not inclined to understand spiritual life or about himself, then there is no shemam. So you make your life shemam, you make your life auspicious, all goodness, all good fortune, and then you spread that good fortune to the others. Help others also. This is an instruction that the saintly people that they give us. This is the instruction of the Bhagavatam, the instruction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. So, simply by following this devotional process, by following this wonderful advice of the Supreme Lord, this unlimited Lord, one can very easily cross over this ocean of material existence. Just like Vatsapadam, this small calf. Sometimes it makes a hole in the muddy ground, and little water is accumulated in that hoof print, and it's not a big deal. Even a child can walk over it. Otherwise, this ocean of material existence is so vast, it's practically impossible to cross it. Duradhyaya, Mama Maya Duradhyaya. It's very difficult to cross over. But somebody who picks up this devotional process and follows the instructions of the Lord and his wonderful devotees, then Vatsapadam, very easily he can jump over this small pit of material existence. Very quickly he can cross over, and then Parampadam, he can achieve the topmost destination. So this human form is a golden opportunity, and this age Kali Yuga, it is not only glorious because of all these facilities, but also because Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is not only Krishna, but Krishna's pure devotee combined, together, they are giving without considering the qualification of the person they are giving you, the love of God. The topmost thing that even big demigods like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, they are waiting in queue. One day maybe I will get that prem, Krishna prem, and this love of God. You can get liberation, you can get so many things, but this love of God is not something very easily somebody can get. Even these big demigods, they cannot get it. But this thing Mahaprabhu is giving very freely without considering the qualities of the person, whether he is sinful or not sinful. Simply when you chant the holy names of the Lord, you can develop this Krishna. So the Bhagavatam is instructing us that you have to please use this human form to achieve this topmost thing, and then your whole life will be glorious, and you can also help others also to achieve the same destination. I think I'll stop here. Thank you very much for your patient listening. This is Dwadasi day, so if you haven't broken your the Ekadasi Vrata, those who have kept the Vrata, please do. I think the time is like 9:50 or something like that. You can check it up. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any suggestions, any questions, any comments? Maharajas.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat.
No.
Yeah, thank you for this wonderful class. Achyut Prabhu, please.
Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Achyuta. Dandavat.
If the living entity is that now you told that he can be liberated but cannot get the love of Godhead. So what is the position of that liberation? A person means love of Godhead means, I think, Krishna consciousness.
Yeah.
A person is not Krishna conscious. So if he is liberated, so in what position is there?
See, when I was talking about, yeah.
Another question is that the difference between Golok Dham and Vaikunt planet is the different rasa, means a different difference in the consciousness of the living entity. So in Vaikunt rasa also that but living entity is not in the Golok Dham. If they are in Vaikunt rasa, consciousness is in the same level, or it is a difference of bhava, or it is difference of love.
Okay. See, the first question you were asking about this different types of liberation. There are 5 kinds of liberation. You know that Sayuja, Sarupya, Samipya, Salokya, and Sarshri. Among this, the devotees of the Lord, they don't want the Sayuja or merging in this impersonal Brahman, because there is no activity actually. But all the others, also the devotees, they don't want that. They don't care for that. So Mahaprabhu is saying, Mama Janmani Janmani Ishwari, my Lord, birth after birth, I don't mind being in the material world, but Bhavatat Bhaktira Haitu Kitvai, I want just your costless devotional service. For a devotee, it doesn't matter whether he is in the liberated Vaikuntha planet, or he is in hell, or he is in heaven, or he is on earthly planet. Wherever he is, he wants to serve the Lord. That's all. That is his mentality. Now the Lord, out of his kindness, may take him to the spiritual planets, wherever, Vaikuntha or Goloka. That depends on his attachment at the point of death. Even I was also confused. How do you know whether the person is going to Vaikuntha or the person goes to Golok? And our Vyastirtha Maharaj, right, Manipuri Maharaj, he made this very wonderful thing. He said, at the point of death, if you are remembering Krishna in the 200 form, Shyam Sundar form, you get promoted to Golok. But if you are remembering any other incarnation or 400 form of the Lord, you go to one of the Vaikuntha planets. And there is no difference. See, the spiritual activity is there, everything is there. And the soul, he has a particular swarup. So if he is comfortable in Vaikuntha, then it is fine. That's what he is meant to be. And if he has to go to Golok, then he will go there. This will happen. But otherwise, even in Vaikuntha, he may feel that something is missing. There is this nice story Sanatan Goswami is describing, Brihad Bhagavatam, about this journey of this Gopakumar, right? So this person he's beginning from everywhere, he's going through the heavenly planets, different lokas, and ultimately he comes to Vaikuntha also. Even in Vaikuntha, he feels, I'm not very intimate with Krishna. He feels that something is very missing there. It is a spiritual world, the Lord is there, you get full satisfaction, but still he feels something is missing. Because in Vaikuntha, you cannot climb over Lord Narayan or Vishnu, and then you cannot put your hand on his shoulders and be very close to him. Even Lakshmiji, you see, she is just massaging the lotus feet. So that relationship, he felt something is missing there. But it is a spiritual world. You don't think that you get an opportunity to Vaikuntha. You're saying no, I will only go to Golok. It's not like that. It is a spiritual platform. It is Advaitam, Achyutam. It is infallible platform. It is Advaita. It is non-dual. It is a spiritual platform. But some people, those Atmas who have that kind of swarup, that kind of spiritual identity, they feel entirely comfortable when they are there in Golok. But ultimately, whether you go to Golok or you're going to Vaikuntha, it depends on your consciousness and who you're meditating upon at the time of death. So everybody has this Ishtadeva. Ishtadeva means you are in problem. Some of them they meditate Kornitai. Automatically it comes out. And some of them, like all our Bhubaneswar devotees, you say they all say Jai Jagannath. Right? It comes automatic for them. And then you go to the Vrindavan Vasis, they will all say Jai Radhe or Shyam Sundar or Shama or something like that. So this training, right? So the training, and ultimately at the point of death, who you're remembering, that is the place you go to. It is a spiritual platform, but because this intimacy is more in Golok Vrindavan, so that is the highest concept actually. But otherwise, there is no difference. It's like it's like this thing. Somebody asked, I think, I don't know who's that one saintly person, maybe Tulsidas or Tukaram or somebody, which is greater, the Lord or His holy name? It's something like what you're asking, which is higher, Golok or Vaikuntha. And then because they are absolute platform, that saintly person said, both are absolute. If I say one is superior, the other is inferior, then I will be committing a big offense and I will go to hell. But you try to understand, the Lord, when he personally came, he was able to liberate so many millions of people. But the holy name is still now liberating so many rascals and fallen people like me. So you understand which is more superior. You got the point? So this is how that saintly person was giving the explanation. There is no difference. There is no difference at all. But you can see from the result. You want to be more intimate with Krishna, then yeah, Golok is fine. If you want little maryada, you want that respect and awe and reverence and everything, the opulence, then Vaikuntha is fine. But it is both are spiritual planets, so there is no difference. So you pick your choice. It's up to you. Okay, Prabhu. Achyuta? Haribol?
I think it is satisfactory, Prabhuji. So,
Yeah.
yeah, Vargo Maharaj is having a question. Maharaj, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam.
Then good, Prabhu. All goes to Sripad. As you were answering to our Achyut Prabhu,
Yeah, Maharaj.
so you clearly made the difference. Naishkarmyam api Achyuta bhava vajitam. So in Naishkarmyam, this Achyuta Bhava is not included. You know? That's why Achyuta Prabhu had to come to add the Achyuta Bhava, Achyuta connection. My question is, so this Naishkarmyam, is it Jnana, Vijnana? Because could you define properly what is the range of Jnana and then range of Vijnana, which Krishna is speaking in 7.2, you know, Jnanam teham sa Vijnanam. So in the beginning of your lecture, you tried to define the Jnana, and then between Vijnana, you brought something else also.
Yeah, most
What
advanced.
What is the boundary of in what category we put this Naishkarma Jnana? That's my question. And compared to the Achyuta Bhava, and what is the category of Achyuta Bhava?
Okay.
And then the thing you wanted to explain regarding Tulsidas, I will just add one point later. So first the answer.
Jnana is just knowledge which is presented in the Vedas, Maharaj. So Traigunya Vishaya Veda. Generally, you know, because the knowledge is presented, it deals with people who are contaminated by these three modes of nature. Vijnana means how the, you know, scientific knowledge, not just the theory of what you're undergoing, but practically how you can get over this thing. That is Vijnana. Because besides the theory, you know, we are dealing with all these things, there is also the practicals involved. That is scientific knowledge. And spiritual knowledge, transcendental, where Achyuta Bhava is included, this is the most confidential part or the most advanced scientific knowledge. Now, Naishkarmyam, you know, it begins with Jnana, and then it can take you all the way up to, you know, this impersonal Brahmajyoti. So these people who pursue the Jnana marg, the speculatory process, they have to do so much tapasya and so much, you know, literally break their heads to try to understand what is the supreme absolute truth, and they can elevate themselves to that platform, this impersonal liberation platform. That is the limit they can go. But beyond that, because they don't have this Achyuta Bhava, because they don't have that concept of the Lord being a person, and that there is spiritual variegatedness, spiritual activities, so they cannot reach either Vaikuntha or Golok. And because they are not able to enjoy these superior facilities, they again, from that level, this impersonal Jyoti, they again fall down into the material world. Because Patanti Ada means that this material thing appears very attractive again. You see, most of these people, they give up everything and they go, you know, Jagan, what is that? This Jagat, what is a Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya? They say this whole world is false. They go, they do so much austerities, and again they come back, they open some schools, colleges, and, you know, like old age homes and all that. Why you need to do that? If you're considering that this world is Mithya, Jagan Mithya, you say only Brahma Satyam, you'll be situated on the Brahman platform. Why do you have to come back again to the material activities? So this chances of fall down is very much there when you go to that impersonal level, and even that is condemned by the Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam is saying even going to this you know, impersonal Naishkarmya level, even that level is not good. It is not no shobhate. It doesn't look nice because there is no final concept of the Lord. No? See, we are dealing with so many forms. We have a form. Everything we deal with, you know, is something which makes sense. It has a form, but the Supreme Lord, he cannot have a form.
My question is, does it come under the category of Jnana or Vijnana, this Naishkarmya? That's my specific question.
Okay, it comes under, I think, Gyan Maharaj. I'm not sure, but unless one does the practical application, I don't think one can achieve, you know, unless one is exercising this knowledge, you know, I don't think he will achieve the impersonal revelation. There is also some Vijnana involved, but it is not the most advanced Vijnana. It is not spiritual, I think. This is my understanding, Maharaj. Please, you can elaborate.
Well, we have to take help from Krishna. In what context Krishna is speaking Vijnana? Different places in Bhagavad and also here in Bhagavad Gita. Vijnana, as you put in one category, you know, Vijnana means whatever definition you give. Krishna is saying beyond this Jnana. Vijnana is beyond this Jnana, means transcendental.
Transcendental.
So Vijnana cannot be mixed with, you know, the realized knowledge, but knowledge is within the modes.
Huh.
So
Okay.
if we apply the knowledge within the three modes, that could be called wisdom, the material wisdom. It does not come under, should not come from Krishna's viewpoint in the category of Vijnana.
Okay.
Vijnana everywhere in Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita is described as transcendental knowledge. That is Achyuta Bhava. Why Neshkarma is condemned? Because it has no Achyuta Bhava. It doesn't have Vijnana. Vijnana means transcendental knowledge. That means Krishna connection. That's the quotation you use, you know. Mam hi partha vyapashitya yepishu papa yonaya. So without Achyuta Bhava, everybody is stuck, not so categorically describe papa yona, but if you don't attain Achyuta Bhava, we are stuck in even in mode of goodness is papa.
Yeah.
So Striyo Vaishya Sata, and once being in not a very not a elevated or comparatively in a high position, that is not a disadvantage from Krishna's point of view if they come to Achyuta Bhava. You know?
Okay.
But on the other hand, one may be situated as a Brahman or whatever, but without Achyuta Bhava, they are not very decorated. They are not considered very decorated or very. So without this transcendental connection, without Vijnana means transcendental knowledge or Achyuta Bhava, everyone is condemned actually, because you may be in an advantageous position materially, but if you don't come to the real purpose of as a human being, whether one may be Brahmin or born in a very wonderful family or endowed with all the positive things, but without Achyuta Bhava, they are condemned. On the other hand, others may not be endowed with wonderful positions, but if they attain the Achyuta Bhava, they transcend, they attain the real benefit, or they have made it. On the other hand, people with the advantage, they are still stuck without it. Just 1 second regarding Tulsidas, the context, if I am correct, the context is Tulsidas was asked, where you want to go? You want to go to Ayodhya or you want to go to Vaikuntha?
Oh, okay.
So he says that also applies to Golok, Vrindavan, and our context, you know, Gokul and all this. So they say, well, both are transcendental, but who is greater in value, in weightage? So he just made this very humorous comment. He said, well, both are transcendental, both are absolute, no doubt about it. But in weightage, Ayodhya has more weight than Vaikuntha. And he said that when you, in a scale, when you weigh two things, whichever is heavier will be down, correct?
Yeah,
the lighter thing will be up. So Vaikuntha is up, it is lighter than Ayodhya, which is down.
Okay.
Hare. So this Vaikuntha and Gokul, Golok, if you want to think, Vaikuntha is a far cry still, but Gokul is available right here. So why one should worry or contemplate about going to Vaikuntha when the heavier thing, or the supreme, greater than Vaikuntha, is available right here on this earth. So we aspire to attain Gokul, you know, and then we don't have to worry about attaining Vaikuntha, because it is greater, it is heavier than, it is superior in rasa than even Vaikuntha. Sorry.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Yeah, we may conclude.
Okay. Jai Guru Maharaj Srila Sripad ki jai. Jai Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jai P.A. Bhaktivedanta ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Grace Mother Manohar Prabhu ki jai. Thank you all
Jai
for
Jai.
joining.
Jai.
See you all in tomorrow's
Jai.
class. Hare Krishna.